Hi, everyone, and welcome to our podcast today with the wonderful Elliot Jerome Sumpton.
Oh, Sherrylanne, you're so sweet. That was such a beautiful intro. And thank you so much for having you on your podcast.
Oh, you're so welcome. I'm Sherrylanne from Pure Bliss Metaverse, and I've actually known Elliot for some time. And we thought, well, let's let everyone else get to
Hmm.
know you a little bit. It's really, you're just so amazing as a coach, as a person, and so happy to be collaborating and working
Me
with
too.
you.
Me too.
So, you're a mindfulness coach,
Correct.
and I mean, you've been teaching many modalities for many years. Yeah, tell us a little bit about what you teach.
Of course, of course. I mean, at the moment, coaching has always been such a key part in my life, leading from dance into meditation, then into life coaching, NLP practicing. And then, with those combined, it's
Yeah.
just an absolute powerhouse to see how it kind of impacts people in such an astounding way. It's so amazing. So amazing.
Can you tell me, do you have a story about a client that you've worked with and their
Mm.
journey,
Yeah, of
basically?
course. Oh my God, if I could pick, I've got to pick one. They're all so great. I mean, most recently I worked with a lovely lady who hadn't done anything like this before, no coaching in a coaching environment. But I was able to help and guide her through stuff that was happening in her life in relationship form. That was super impactful, but so gentle that it was so powerful for her because she didn't feel like it was coaching. It was just advice or help or support.
Yeah.
But it led her to, an end result that was so soul serving. And so
Mhm.
there was so much gratitude there from her as well. And, she's now a client of ours now, which is amazing.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, fantastic. And what are some of the most common misconceptions, would you say, about mindfulness and
Mm.
meditation?
Oh my goodness. That's the resistance that comes with something like meditation and mindfulness at the start is so crazy, so crazy. I know even myself, before I started that path, the resistance of I don't want to be with my own thoughts. I don't want to sit still for an hour. I don't have the focus.
Mhm.
It can be so many of those little things that pile up that kick off that means you just don't do it.
Yeah,
And in that situation, it took, I know for myself, and for you, meditation is now one of our favorite things to do,
yes,
but it is so, and it just took that one class. But
yeah,
I also believe that it took that one class with that one very special teacher.
yes,
It took that one coach
yes,
to shift my mindset around it.
yeah,
Without trying, they were just doing their jobs. Um, but this is why coaching it holds such power. This
mhm,
mentorship or knowing that you have someone in your corner
yes,
that has your back,
yeah,
um, is it's just everyone should have one.
yeah,
That one person that you can call for advice or you can reach out to if something doesn't feel right, or more importantly, who will celebrate with you those wins, big or small,
yeah,
but someone who may even point them out for you as well. I know for myself, that kind of coach is something that I hold so close to my heart, especially those people who were when we're in our own heads and our own spaces, we're not celebrating those little wins. But when
yeah,
someone turns around and says, "Hey, that's
yeah,
really great, right?"
yeah,
So why don't we just celebrate that?
yes, yeah. And how important is it to celebrate the wins?
It is without celebrating wins, you won't get the result. It's from everything I've seen in my coaching career, those wins are a key factor
Yeah,
in your growth and you getting better or to the end result that you're looking for. I see a lot of clients too. It is also a great uh, time mediator. So
hmm,
sometimes, I mean, you get people who want to they jump in full throttle. Let's smash it out. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. And by them not celebrating those wins,
yes,
the
yeah,
momentum doesn't, it has a different energy to it.
yeah,
So it can kind of slow them down as well. But it also then you've got to ask the question, what's your motivation to get to that end result?
mhm,
Because I need to know what this urgency is. Because it's great that we can get there quickly, but it seems like we're missing the good stuff. The wins is the good stuff. And then on the flip side of that, even the other side of that coin.
So some of the wins are smaller, aren't they?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
And it's not even the little win. It's, I find with people who I'm working with, it's very much the small wins aren't celebrated for the people who the pace is a little bit slower than what they wanted. So someone which is a lot of people, life, it gets hectic, it gets busy, work happens, life happens, family happens, it all happens. And then we use it as a stopping point, opposed to that.
Oh, the inner critic, right?
100%.
Who doesn't
100%.
celebrate your little wins.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
100%. But there's a lot of resistance too around, which again goes into the mindset around the coaching process, because it is fascinating to watch when you celebrate with someone, or maybe point out something that they should be celebrating, and the resistance that's met with it.
Yes.
Oh, but I haven't done that. I haven't. Oh yeah, but I should be doing more. Well, let's hold on a second. You have an awareness that a lot of people don't have right now. Do you want to do better? Yes. Let's celebrate that. That in itself is a win.
Exactly.
So let's celebrate that, because when we celebrate, again, we get into how the brain works. That celebration will release that dopamine, opposed to that noradrenaline, which is the motivating drug. And when, again, we are our own worst critics, we are hands down, no one speaks to us the way we speak to ourselves. No one. So when we start diving into that voice tends to kind of perk up a little bit. When you're resetting boundaries, or you're resetting this, and that's when we kind of have to listen to what it's saying without kind of integrating into it.
Can you walk us through maybe a simple mindfulness exercise?
I would love to. Oh my goodness, yes. Let me see if I can pick one for you. We might do a Vedic exercise, which is something that I do with all my clients at the beginning, which is just about realigning the nervous system and just calming down a little bit. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your chin, and you're going to turn your head as far as you can to the left.
That's the Vedic system.
The Vedic, that's it. The Vedic nervous system, that's it. Just notice where it goes. And then take the chin to the other side. That's it. And then just come to the center. Now you interlock your hands and you place them on the back of your head, just like so. Perfect. This is just to support your head so it doesn't move. So now you're going to look in the direction of your left elbow. So as far as you can, and it might be slightly uncomfortable. So keep looking, but you will it may take 30 seconds, may take a minute, but you will feel a release. And this may come in yawn form, or a sigh, or a breath.
Oh yeah, I want to breathe.
And you might just relax it. So bring it back to the center again, and then look to the other elbow. So the right one.
I noticed one side is a bit more comfortable than the other too. Even just with the eyeballing.
Isn't it fascinating?
Yes.
And then once you feel that release, come back to the center. Oh, shake it out. And it just realigns that.
I hope you guys all did.
There you go. Would have looked super strange on cam, but it is something that it also, doing something like this, it makes you present. So you're all of a sudden you're not thinking forward and you're not thinking behind. So we're in a much healthier space then to navigate the next steps forward.
Yes. And more to that, how do you help clients who struggle with maintaining, say, a daily practice or a consistent practice?
I mean, again, too, because I hold coaching so close to my heart and know the power that it takes, I will always stand by the one cardinal rule, and that is your journey, your pace. That's it. There is no
your journey, your pace.
Your journey, your pace.
So what does that mean?
That means you're choosing to do this work. That's going to be celebrated. But it also means we'll go at the pace that you want to go at.
Yes.
But we'll navigate that. So there is no, we're going to take off those weights on the shoulders that weigh us down, that we're not doing enough. That little voice that says, I should quit, I'm not feeling it, I'm not doing this. That's totally fine. If it's consistent based, you can always shift that. It is that communication. But you also tend to make sure that you kind of keep those avenues of communication up with your coach as well. Because again, too, we're not a teacher at school. We're not, we're not law enforcement.
You're not trouble.
You're not in trouble. Oh my goodness. But there's so much that clients were like, I didn't reach out because I didn't want to, I was embarrassed. I was not all those
Absolutely.
bad
There's
stuff.
so much shame that comes up around a lot
Hmm.
of things. It's almost like we think we should know this stuff already. We
Hmm.
should, I mean, even great coaches have mentors, right? And
Hmm.
have their own
100%.
coaches.
Yeah.
And it's not even just about how much you know, it's about having that support. And sometimes your perception can be off. Like one of my favorite sayings is, don't let your mood determine
Mm.
your worth
Hmm.
on any given day, because
Hmm.
your mood can fluctuate, but your worth is always there. It's always high value.
Yeah.
And it's really good if someone can bring your perception back that day, because you might be lowering your worth because your mood is
100%.
low, right?
Yes.
So I would say, yeah, I agree. It's you should always have a coach or a mentor or someone. One of the resistant points with that I find comes up a lot, and I'd love to know what you have to say about this,
Mhm.
is people thinking that it's expensive and they can't afford it. And I mean, understandably,
Yeah.
but yeah, what do you think about that?
Yeah. Oh my goodness, so many thoughts. Again, too, what is the resistance in that? Because it is, if it is money, is it really unaffordable? Or is it something that is just going to inhibit you from growing? Also knowing that it's so, you know, you're not locked into anything, like making sure you're finding the right program for you,
Yeah,
making sure that you understand, what you're getting and you have, you're enjoying it and have trust in those coaches, which is
yeah.
great. Um, but again, too, I mean, you would also have found this as well. Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely, I mean, I don't think I've done a course that was under $4,000 when I
Uh-huh.
absolutely did not have it to spend. Um, I don't, I mean, I wouldn't tell anyone to put themselves under stress
Mm,
ever. But I also learned from some many good mentors, monks,
yes.
Buddhist monks, and different teachers that I've just been so fortunate to have,
Yes.
to know that it's just a mindset
100%.
and money is just an energy.
Yes.
At the same time, as a coach myself, I wouldn't want to put pressure
Mm,
on anyone either,
yeah.
But it's until you pass that
100%.
that resistance.
You also,
Um,
you kind of forget how much you paid for it. It's the experience
oh,
you
I
kind
always,
of remember.
and I think when on
Like you just don't recall
on
it.
your dying day, I don't think you're going to be saying, "Oh, spend all that money on
No,
wellness,
no, no, no.
mindfulness courses."
But it's also, I
Um,
mean, you would also feel the same way, I'm sure, when it's once it's paid, you've kind of made an energetic commitment. It's like, okay,
yeah,
I'm doing this.
I was
This
also
is my
taught that.
first step.
Yeah,
Let's do it because
yeah,
this is a sign that I'm ready to take this step.
yes.
Um, I'm in it.
And that's that commitment to yourself. And you might also make that commitment
Mm,
and still have resistance on the way, and that's fine,
yes.
right? It's absolutely fine.
Yeah, yeah.
Actually, guys, we have together actually thought about this a lot and come up with a program for
We
you.
have
So if money is an issue and you want something very cheap, yeah,
Yeah.
go for it.
So these are, I mean, again, too, these are questions we've also taken on board as well. We want to make it
And we've been through it. We've been
100%.
through it ourselves,
100%.
So here's the course that we're going to be offering. It's going to be a weekly coaching call in a group format. So it's super affordable and you get to meet a ton of great like-minded people. You will get to some teachings each week, and they'll be on topics that you email us about pretty much. So you will be able to email us your questions, and we will either make the topic that week about one of those questions or answer your questions. So there'll be three segments. There'll be the teaching, the answering, the emails, and then there'll be a live Q&A. So you can actually unmute and ask questions about what we've been talking about.
Mm.
So it's just such a great way to get that support and that coaching. There'll be a WhatsApp group for extra support, a Facebook group, all private groups, and it'll be global, so there'll be people from around the world. The details will be down below, so check that out. It's really extremely affordable and a great way to start getting mentoring or coaching.
That is such a great point, Sherrylanne. I was just about to say it's a
Yeah,
great way to dip your toe
yeah,
into that pool. And when you realize, wow, which is really great, then you have access to us as well. So for the stuff that you want to work through with us personally, one-on-one, we are more than happy to do that as well. It's a great way to kind of show you this can help.
Yeah,
this really can
I'm going to list all of the things we're doing down below. We've got quite a range actually of things to choose from. And I'd love to ask you a couple more questions, if I could.
Please.
So, how do you approach teaching people who are extremely resistant?
Of course. I mean, understanding and compassion as well, for that client. Because again, if it's new and you're not sure, sometimes you take one step and then you want to take two steps back.
Yeah.
So I think, when you've taken that first step, which should be celebrated anyway, right? But then that consistency as well, again, it's about that your journey, your pace.
Yeah.
And the understanding that I am in your corner. That's it. I'm in your corner. I'm here to help and support you.
Yeah.
And that also means, so when we have this dialogue and if you want to be held more accountable, we can do that for you.
Yes.
100% we can. With ease.
But you guide the speed and the process.
100%, 100%. But sometimes you just need to have that person who will ask those questions. From a very loving space, as like a friend would ask you, with no judgment. It is always going to be safe.
Yeah.
But it's that, why do you think you did that? And how would you like it to have gone differently?
Yes.
And how do we get to that point? Because we will never dwell on the past. We never go backwards.
Yeah.
It's always forwards.
Yeah.
Life's too short to be going backwards.
Yeah.
So, oopsie. You know what I mean? Look, oopsie, not a problem. Let's work with that. Let's see what we can learn from it. Let's see how we can then progress and push forwards. But again, we don't go backwards. Oopsies happen all the time.
So I think it's very important for people to feel safe and resonate with what you're saying. So you're really just reflecting. Like a good coach never says you should do this, you should do that. They're a guide, right?
100%.
And really the client kind of guides how the session goes. With motivation. If you want more motivation, we've got more. We've got more of everything.
And we'll also, because to do our jobs correctly, we will know a lot about yourself and the situation as well. We usually start, with an hour call before we get into any kind of private stuff. Just to understand where you're at, what you want to work on, what your goals are. Because your goals are our goals. We want you to get there. So you've got someone already who's like, we can do it.
Yes.
Let's see how we process this.
Yeah.
So, you can definitely set that pace because we also know where you're going. So if we all take a little bit of a left sometimes or a little bit of a ride, or we know how to curve it. We've been doing it ourselves. So let's maybe pull it back to where that goal was. Or then even reassess.
Beautiful. And I love what you said too. I mean, just then showing up and at least asking questions or trying something, it's huge, right? In their process,
because we also understand, you get it as well, it's very vulnerable to talk about, what I mean? So a lot of people don't want to talk about problems. They don't want to recognize it. They don't want to dig that little bit deeper. So when you're coming at it from that space as well, there's so much understanding from a coach's perspective, that should be handled with a lot of care. That's why again, celebrating. Thank you so much for sharing that. That is, I really do appreciate that. And when it's a safe space and you can share those feelings in that dialogue, and you've got someone who says, no, I get it.
What about people in really high stress professions, something like, say, doctors or surgeons, or in the corporate environment? How would you help them navigate that stress, that level of stress?
Of course. I've got a couple of clients in two very different scenarios, but I guess if we're talking like the pace and the time and the stress that comes with that kind of work, a lot of the coaching behind it is how they unwind. So how they kind of shut off from it, how they're kind of setting time for things that are important. Sometimes it is a little bit, with the clients I have who are in those roles, they're in everything is high alert all the time. So they're in such a heightened state that everything is urgent. Everything needs to be done now. Everything's reactive. And because it's like that at work, you can guarantee it is exactly like that at home.
Yeah.
It is being reflected everywhere else in their lives. So the importance of understanding that even something as small as it seems, of maybe popping on a quick meditation before you walk into the house
Right.
with that family.
Yes.
Once the work's done, dedicating just those 5 minutes,
Yeah.
and that you cannot put that key in that door. You want to go home until you put that key in that door. I know you can do it. And it's just a 3-minute breathing exercise.
I mean, it's just practice, isn't it? You absolutely can control your mind a little bit more and switch off. And it's having the intention, isn't it?
100%.
To switch off and do it. That's huge.
Yeah. Or wanting it to be different. I think the amount of times if we have this presumption of I'm stressed at work, I'm tired at work, I know I'm going to go home, I know I'm going to have that argument with the partner, I know this is going to be this and that. You don't know, but you've kind of solidified it. Because you've kind of set it in stone. You've decided 100% you have. If we shift that attitude and that thought form, if with every, you'll always challenge that with every negative question needs to be a positive one. So, what if I walk into the house and my partner yells at me? Okay, well, what if you don't? What if today's, I leave work so tired and so stressed, I don't have time for my family. But what if you do? Like, what are the outcomes of the positive format that we can deal with, opposed to now solidifying yourself in that energy of, I can't.
And do you address their sleep as well?
100%.
And how they prepare themselves to get better sleep?
Yeah. I mean, things like sleep and wellness will always play hand in hand. When you're doing this work as well, sleep is such an intricate part of the process. You have to reset something, you have to reset, you have to integrate. But also understanding, I mean, I know it's hard for a lot of people. There's a lot of that, there's a lot of resistance in, well, I just don't sleep well. The fact that it is such a key role in our lives, we have to sleep as humans or we die.
And making that statement, that blanket statement, I don't sleep well, that's setting it in stone a bit more, as you said.
100%. But then it's funny, it's very interesting to watch people who have just accepted that as the norm. This is the thing we need to change. My sleep is bad. You need to sleep well to live well. And you've just accepted that, well, I just sleep bad. Well, then, okay, how do we change it? How do we fix it?
And there's so many things you can do, right? There's so much you can do towards it. I mean, we think we're rewarding ourselves by watching a bit, a movie, or late at night, I'll just watch a bit more TV, Netflix, just a bit more. We think we're rewarding ourselves, but we're actually stealing from our sleep.
Well, I think too, especially within media, it is such you have to be really careful of what you're intaking. Like, you don't know how that's also packing on the stress. This is very much,
because it increases your anxiety, doesn't it?
Yeah. It is definitely, and again, too, as coaches, we will always work with you. We're never going to tell you not to do something. We will work with. It depends. Maybe. Well, depends on what it is.
It doesn't work to just go cold turkey on something. So does it just cut it off 100%?
No. But you can make it work for you.
And you can only suggest too, really. I mean, it's great that people show up. That's like part of the 3 to 5% of the world. But it's not about forcing anything. It's about resonating with it and thinking, yeah, that would be good for me, and I feel that, and okay, and then I try it, and then, oh my gosh, I feel it, that feels so good. I might actually get to like it, and it becomes a treat instead of a chore after a while, because you get to love it. You kind of, I mean, with the sleep practices now before bed, I love that hour routine. I love that beautiful quiet time. I actually love it now. And I thought, I can't imagine that what I did before, looking at screens to the last minute. And then like, sleep now, when you've just sort of woken up and, wired your system, your nervous system with this information. And now I just crave my little free sleep routine.
It's so good.
It's so
It is
good.
so good. It is also so empowering. I just don't think when you take that little step forwards, knowing that you're doing something good for yourself. And again,
Yeah.
too, like you said, you don't go cold turkey,
No, yeah.
but setting boundaries around,
Mm.
like screen time. I've got clients who they love TikTok, which is great. And
Yeah.
that's how they've unwind, and they've kind of
Yeah.
habitually, that's their time when they go to bed.
TikTok too.
I love TikTok too, for sure. Don't get us wrong.
All right.
But it's
Addictive.
it's
It's
addictive because
addictive.
but then also understanding why it's addictive.
Yeah.
Because it's constant, it's dopamine hits every time you swipe. It's showing
Yeah.
you things you want to see.
Yeah.
But then also understanding it within your algorithm too. Sometimes they can mix it up, and you can, you know, all of a sudden you're looking at this political regime that's kicking off
Yeah.
wherever it is, and
Yeah.
then we
And
get
the
all
ads kick in
we get all
and
riled up, and then we
yeah.
swipe again, and
You
then
get worried.
then it's
Yeah.
kittens in baskets, and we're like, oh no, everything's fine.
Yeah.
But we don't understand that because it is, but it is that
Yeah.
constant, the understanding of that such fast up and down is desensitizing you to these emotions, and training our brains to think that we can just swipe through life. Don't get me wrong, there are situations where, one of the best things I've ever learned from a coach that I studied underneath was you're not held in any space ever, ever.
Hmm.
You can leave anything
Yes.
right now at any time.
Yes.
This fight or flight business, there is no fight or flight. You just go. You know what I
Yes.
mean? With good reason, and you
Yeah,
can do
yeah.
that with ease and grace. But if things get to a point, you can go and you can make it work.
Yeah.
And you've had clients who are like, well, no, I can't really. I've got this or that. Well, you can.
Yeah.
I mean, there are repercussions, but if you're having that
Yeah.
argument with the boss and it's getting heated, you can, without saying a word, walk out,
Yeah.
which is fine. But you should handle that better.
Yeah.
But it also then guides us to the understanding of knowing that I can walk away. I can.
Yeah.
I'm now going to choose a better
Yes.
path for
Yeah.
this.
And not choosing from fear,
No, that's exactly
choosing
right.
from a more neutral place.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes, and I often say too, look, if you're feeling fear, then don't make a decision.
Mhm.
Wait until you can dissolve some of the fear
Yes.
and make it from a better judgment. Let's say, make it from a better judging place.
Yeah. It's a much better feeling space when
Yeah,
you've got that as well.
absolutely.
But sometimes you don't know when it's
Absolutely.
coming. Like it is, I've got,
Yeah.
the tools that I've learned now too to recognize what it is and how it's coming up
Yeah.
and what my triggers are and why they're there and
Yeah.
log them and honor them
Yeah.
but understanding that, oh, I recognize it so I can handle it a bit differently
Yes.
between just riding the wave. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Where you get
100%.
it's
Where you feel like you're a victim to it
Mhm.
rather than being able to be the observer
Yes,
of it.
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's exactly right.
And this gets a little bit into the science behind mindfulness.
Yeah.
I mean, I've definitely had people say to me, oh, meditation, I'm just going to sit there,
hmm
try not to think. And I'm like, yeah, it can start like that. I don't know, maybe. But meditation is being able to drop into different states
Mm.
of consciousness.
Yes.
And that's where healing occurs in your body.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's when things are released in the body.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
heart tells the brain to release
Yeah.
certain chemicals, right?
Yeah, 100%. I think people think meditation is a big, 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 big process, but it's a tool to train your brain
Yeah.
to, first of all, slow down. And I think the misconception is too, you want to get to a point where you're not thinking. That is so false. It is so horrible to tell your brain to do all this work your whole life and then say stop. But recognizing what it's doing and why it's doing it, that's then when you kind of step into that bliss of you're not integrating with those thoughts. It's almost like you're sitting on a sidewalk watching cars go by. So when you can step into a space of the observer, like you said before, and use the phrase, wow, isn't that interesting?
Yes.
That thoughts are opposed to
because you're curious.
because your brain cannot interpret what is or isn't real. It doesn't know. It goes from senses but thought.
Yeah.
So we've all been in, those situations where a thought's popped in and it's rolled so fast through your brain, like bolting horses out of a gate, to the point where we're now physically reacting to something our brain has created.
Yeah.
There's an old proverb.
And it feels real, doesn't it?
Feels so real,
Yeah.
but it is also, and then that just stirs up more anxiety, more stress. There's an old proverb that states, the tiger's not in the room,
Yeah.
which is something that I go back to all the time because it is so profound. It sounds so silly, but is this real?
Yeah.
Is the tiger's not here?
Yeah.
We've created this reality, and I've worked through with clients in this process as well. It is, even if the situation happened that you're thinking about, it's going to be less worse than it is now because you can be proactive and do something about it. Right now, you're in complete torture limbo because nothing's happening. It's not real.
That's what happens, isn't it? You get frozen
Yeah.
in the moment. But there are so many tools you can use to dissolve it, even in the moment.
Yeah.
Right. And I think with practice, you just get better and better at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
And it's interesting, I've had so many people talking about the meditation. I know myself, once you get used to doing it, you crave it. You just feel so good. And I got taught by a beautiful, beautiful Buddhist monk, honestly. But he used to tell me it's better than sex. And better than any drug you can imagine.
If that's not going to get you meditating, people,
like,
I'm telling you, I don't know what
and
it
I'm
is.
like, oh, and you, oh, okay, yeah, you'd know, I don't know, but he wasn't a monk his whole life.
He wasn't?
No. So, but he used to, the way he taught us was incredible, and I'm so grateful for that, because it got me over to, let's say, to the other side.
Yeah.
Where I just start now, if I don't meditate in one day, I feel like, the kid that didn't get the ice cream that day.
You want to.
Yeah,
it's a yearning.
Something's missing, and that it's so beautiful, the feeling, and honestly, there are so many deeper states you can get to as well.
Yeah.
So one day.
And again, too, I mean, it's something that I hold so close to my heart as well. It's the understanding of what I've learned, and it's the power of discernment.
Yeah.
And if I don't know how I think or feel or believe, how am I going to believe everything around me? Like how can I discern what is or isn't truth, isn't reality? Because again, too, we're all having a different experience. Our realities are also different. It's what our brains kind of computed, and it's insane. Our experiences are very different from person to person to person to person. This interaction is different for me and for you. It's seen differently from our side. So how do you then, within that discernment format, know, okay, well, I do know myself, and I do know how this is correct. Is such an epic tool to have, especially in a world that we're living in right now, where things do kind of feel like the world's on its head. There's a lot being fed through. There's a lot of stuff that's happening around us that we get overloaded with. Everything's so fast now. Media's so fast. News is so fast. It's just constant.
It might feel difficult to think that you can actually feel good while all of this is going on. You might think that's impossible. And I know when the fear and the anxiety grips you, that is very real for you.
Yes.
And when you're in that, you can't imagine feeling great. When you're feeling great, you can't imagine being in that hole again with the fear and the anxiety, right?
Yeah.
And it's just incredible how it works. But when you're able to be the observer of everything you're going through and pull yourself up out of it, right? That's where the magic happens.
Yeah. And again, too, it's a constant process. You know what I mean? You're never going to just get there. But when you find the joy in it, like you said, when you enjoy the meditation, and when you do start showing yourself the love and grace that you deserve, because I mean, again, we're
and it's okay to be human, isn't it?
It's so okay.
It's okay to be human.
So okay. And it's oopsies. Again, oopsies are gonna happen.
Oopsies.
We can have oopsies and we can have wins. That's how it always work. Yeah, whoops. Could I have dealt with that belly? Yeah, probably. But you'd learn it. Let's have a process where
it doesn't matter what you've done. It doesn't matter what you've done. It only matters what you do now with this new tools and new information that you have.
That's all it is.
Oh my goodness. Well, it's been absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. This is a wonderful, wonderful human being. Please come and join us. We will be teaching this together. I'm gonna bring the little slide up again. Just bring that up again for you. All the information will be down below, and you can find out a lot more about what we're doing, and you can get some cool, either the group coaching, one-to-ones. We're going to be doing a 6-week rewire your mind intensive, either private lessons or a group. We'll be doing that online, so that can be global as well. And yeah, please drop us an email and say hi. We'd love to hear from you.
Please, we'd love
Yes.
love to know your stories, how you're going. Just we'd love to for you to connect for sure.
And let's take that one off, the slide off again, and we'll just have a
Cool.
little goodbye because we want to have a proper goodbye to you.
Oh,
Thank you.
yep. Sorry. I thought I stopped the call. No. I know.
Thank you so much, Elliot.
It was my pleasure. Thank
yeah,
you so much for chatting with me today.
So please make sure you click like and subscribe below. It helps us. And thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
See you next time.